The first step before anybody else in the world believes it is you have to believe it.
You were never meant to fit in. You have always known that. There is something inside you that refuses to be ordinary. And no matter how hard you try to ignore it, it will not let you rest. That feeling is not an accident. It's the seed of greatness, waiting to be used.
How can someone become something? How can they create something? How can they build anything if they never learn any skills? And how do we learn skills? We learn skills by going through the hard times. We learn skills by going through the times that test us, the times that make us want to quit, the times where we lose. Everybody thinks that success is all about winning, but the truth of the matter is, guys, is that the majority of the ultra successful people on this planet have a very, very, very difficult and hard backstory.
You're being too quickly attracted when you see something beautiful. You're too quickly attracted if you smell something tasty. You're too quickly distracted when you have physical touch. Yeah? So the first hindrance means you are losing the goal already, because in the moment something pleasurable is being presented to you, your mind has shifted already.
List all the things that you aren't willing to give up for the dreams that you have, and that is what the person who will beat you is willing to give up.
No, make a sacrifice today. Sacrifice a plastic ring today for a gold crown tomorrow.
You will never understand what is wrong with me. And that's why I'm so glad you don't, because I'm in the right spot. When people don't understand you anymore, you're in that spot of obsession and drive. I don't want to talk to you, man, because you're not going to get it.
Difficulties in life is nothing that stops you, because it is so heartbreaking, because it goes so deep. It carries the potential for the highest transformation.
It doesn't matter if you feel overwhelmed. It doesn't matter if you're frustrated. It doesn't matter if you're mad. It doesn't matter if you're bitter. It doesn't matter if you don't feel like it. It doesn't matter. Those things do not matter. It doesn't matter if your friends don't believe in you. It doesn't matter if your parents don't believe in you. These things do not matter. How you feel does not matter in the equation of building a life, okay? What you do matters, and that is it.
Most people don't fail because they're not good enough. They fail because they never go all in.
They stay in the life they were handed instead of building the life they actually want.
When you ask for strength, you're not going to be given strength. You're going to be given an opportunity to be strong. So when you want to change your mindset, when you want to become more mentally strong, when you want to become more disciplined, you're not just going to be granted superpowers that allows you to endure and allows you to do the things that you don't want to do. Instead, you're going to be given pain to feel. You're going to be given something to endure. You're going to be given mountains to climb, things you don't want to do that you must now do because you want to be disciplined. You're going to be given a test, and it's up to you to pass it. And once you do pass it, you're going to be given another test and another one and another one. And the more that you lean into that mindset, the more it becomes part of you. When you want your muscles to be stronger, it is not ask and you shall receive. It is ask and you shall get your ass in the gym and start lifting weights. Start feeling that pain and you will earn strength. If you want to develop a certain trait, you have to do the things that require it.
A friendly reminder that in 3 generations, everyone who knew us will be dead, including the people whose opinions stopped you from doing what you wanted all along. Imagine that someone you know achieves every dream and hits every goal they have. Years later, they get old and die. 2 years after that, how much do you care? About as much as everyone else will if you accomplish your goals and dreams. Do it for you.
This is so simple, I don't want you to miss it. Most people don't lead their life, they accept their life. And when you accept your life, you are living on things that are not worthy of your time and effort and energy.
He said, recently I visited Alcatraz prison. Once it housed the most hardened of criminals. Today, it's open for tours under the direction of the United States Parks Department. Many men have tried to escape Alcatraz, but no one is known to have succeeded. As I listened to the tour guide explain the impossibility of escape, I thought of other prisons equally as confining as Alcatraz, but where the doors are never locked, no guards walk the walls, escape is encouraged and, in fact, possible. He said that prison is habit. You want to really be consciously aware of what you're doing. Is it a habitual thing you're doing every day? Is that what's controlling your life, your destiny? Or are you choosing and going in the direction of your dreams? He said our habit of thinking about ourselves and our environment is either a jail or a paradise. We just have to look around us to see people who are rich emotionally and materially because they think and feel rich. We also see people who are laden with emotional and material debt because they think lack. Some are inspired with vision. Others, unfortunately, are encumbered by doubt. Some are moved by ambition. Others are paralyzed by fear. Some feel free to change. Others feel safer in monotony.
You don't get rid of self-doubt through the same means by which you learned it, and that is in the head. Self-doubt is purely a head-created phenomenon. You were taught it, and you do it to yourself. The fastest Band-Aid ripped off remedy to fixing this terrible situation is to do the thing you're afraid to do. Do it. It's about doing it. Courage. You get it. Courage is what you will experience and what you will grow when the doubt is there, but you do it anyway. So your problem isn't doubt. Your problem is courage. Doubt is going to be there, but doubt gets out of the way when you express courage.
But what is the difference between winners and losers? The difference between winners and losers is that prior to every event, upcoming event, losers think of the last time they went into an experience like this and it didn't work out. They think of their previous failures. They vividly imagine and think about how embarrassed, humiliated, unsuccessful, how badly they felt. And the losers relive and recall failure and poor performance. The winners insist upon reliving and recalling excellence and success. So you can tell that you're destined to be a winner or a loser simply by looking at what you think about in each upcoming event. And if you just make the decision right now to think about what you desire, ask yourself, am I thinking about what I want to happen, or am I thinking about what I'm afraid will happen? Remember, the natural tendency is to think about what you're afraid of, not what you desire. So force your mind, using the law of substitution, take your mind off of what you fear and refuse to entertain it.
What happened to you is not going to change. You can only determine what is going to be the consequence of what comes to you. What is going to be the consequence? How will you transform it? Will you let it stuck inside of you and it slowly eats you up from the inside? Or do you make something different about it? And this is based on the thoughts, on the mental redirectioning of yourself.
The biggest trophy that I ever got in my entire life was me, was really figuring out me. I realized that. I realized it's not about money. It's not about fame. It's not about being accepted by your peers and everybody else. It's about figuring out who I am and being happy with who the I am.
Aren't you sick of getting on Instagram and seeing someone else putting in the work that you should be doing? You can watch someone else all day long. But don't you think life would actually change if you were running the miles or starting the business? You've got to stop just being a consumer of greatness and start producing it, because an extraordinary life doesn't happen by accident, and no one's gonna make it happen for you. Please do not fall for the chosen one complex, because the only person that's gonna save you from a life of standing still is you.
Did you know that's exactly the way your life is every day? Blank. Nothing there. Put on it anything you want. You don't have to let what's on the previous page determine. You don't have to let what somebody tells you's coming determine. You can put anything on it you want. You got a clear sheet. Every one of us has. Now, grasp that. We can start over right now, build the image.
Doubt is like it's burned off by courage. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, do the thing and you will have the power. We're waiting for the power. We're waiting not to self-doubt any longer. All right, whatever it is that you're deciding that you want to do with yourself, that you're doubting your ability on, just do it. Get out completely. That's another thing that you've got to get through your mind, is that success is not doing the right thing, and it definitely isn't doing the right thing the first time. Success is having the courage to move in the direction of your dreams, move in a direction that your heart is taking you. That is what success is, as you are progressively realizing that thing.
Let it fall apart. Not everything is meant to be held together. Some things are just meant to crumble. The discomfort, the uncertainty, the chaos, it's not a sign that you're failing. It's proof that you're outgrowing who you used to be. You don't have to see the whole path right now. You just have to trust that where you're headed is better than where you've been. So let the old version of you dissolve. And when the dust settles, you'll realize that you never needed to hold on. You just needed to have the courage to rebuild.
Winston Churchill said, and I quote, "Success is going from failure to failure to failure without a loss of enthusiasm." Doesn't matter if you win, that's not success. The success is going from the failure to the failure to the failure and still being excited to show up. It's like, this is how I liken success. Success is like love. You know the beautiful part about love? Getting the kicked out of you and then coming back for more. That's so optimistic. To be like, whoa, I just had my ass handed to me, and yet I want to be vulnerable again. I want to go through this again. I want to open myself up to this. I want to be touched by that. I want to feel that. Fucking people can get behind that, man. We can get excited about that. We want to be friends with people like that. We want to feel that in our own lives, that willingness to have tasted defeat and still come in open and not jaded. How beautiful is that?
As the greatest hazard in life is to risk nothing. The person who risks nothing, does nothing, and has nothing. You may avoid suffering and sorrow, but you simply cannot learn, feel, change, grow, live, or love, chained by your certitudes. You will be a slave. Only the person who risks is free.
Success is the progressive realization of a worthy goal, but progressive realization means that you're doing things that you don't know how to do. You're stepping out in faith. You're being courageous. Your self-doubt will step out of the way when you build the balls to do the thing, and the power will be added to you.
Let the miracle of everything that's available work for you, and start working on the inside. Work on your philosophy, work on your attitude, work on your personality, work on your language, work on all of your abilities. And if you'll start making those personal changes, I'm telling you, everything will change for you.
The only way to get to day 800 is to start with day 1. One decision, one shift in your mindset, one thought of being tired to stay the same. The only thing that matters is starting. Day 1 turns into day 2. Day 2 turns into a week. A week turns into a habit, and a habit turns into a lifestyle. Because the only difference between day 1 and day 800 is consistency and a relentless will to just keep going.
Now you're gonna have to go through hell, worse than any nightmare that you ever dreamed.
But I would say, bring it on.
Then I often say to people, you're going to have pain one way or the other. Which pain would you like?
The most important question to ask is, what pain do you want in your life? What are you willing to struggle for?
To me, a fight is not a fight until there's resistance, till there's something to overcome.
If you gaze into the abyss long enough, you see the light, not the darkness.
But in the end, I know you'll be the one standing.
And every day you wake up, it sucks. And when it's over, you feel better. It sucks, you feel better.
Until you win, effort always goes unnoticed. Get used to it. No one roots for you until everyone roots for you. That's just how it works.
And the truth is, the price of progress is pain.
The pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Go for the discipline because it weighs ounces. The regret weighs tons.
And unfortunately, resilience matters in success. I don't know how to teach it to you except for I hope suffering happens to you.
The greatest people on the planet have suffered the most. Suffering is not bad. I'm suggesting suffering is awesome. The ego runs from suffering because it's the death of the ego. But I believe pain, difficult times, failure, loss is purification and preparation for personal heroism.
At the end of the day, I ask myself one question: can I take one more step? And usually the answer is yes.
There comes this time in everyone's life where, destiny taps you on the shoulder and it says it would be a shame if you weren't ready when that happened.
And I think when your dream is so big, when you have something, it's hard to give up. You get to the point that you're capable of risking more for just a dream.
Pain is part of success. Just convert pain into a positive thing. Success is not coming on a silver platter. You need to work for it. The moment you are working for it, that's how you undergo pain. Yeah. Pain in your body and even pain in your mind thinking. But at the end of it, you'll enjoy.
My point was that a life without pain is a life without challenge, and a life without challenge is a life without growth. So not only do I embrace the challenge, embrace the pain associated with challenge and growth, but I even look forward to it in many regards. I invoke, please, give me some challenges here because I need to be tested. I need to be stronger. I need to grow in my resolve with whatever weakness is in my character. Pain is a beautiful thing. Challenge is what life is about. A life without challenge, a life without pain is a life without growth. And where there is no growth, there's stale, stagnant energy.
Listen to the pain. It's both history teacher and fortune teller. Pain teaches us who we are. Sometimes it's so bad, we feel like we're dying. But we can't really live till we died a little counting.
Overcome the suffering means it's gonna be there. You're gonna lose your mother. You're gonna lose your father. You're gonna lose animals and humans that you love. It's going to happen. You're gonna lose money, and at the same time, people are also gonna hurt you even though you don't even know what you did wrong. Things like this are going to happen in this lifetime. To wait for better times to come where the world will be completely in peace and you can walk peacefully over the street, never having the fear that somebody's gonna come and do something to you. It's not gonna happen. If we don't create the better times, nothing's gonna happen.
When it comes to desiring a life, looking at, okay, what is it that I want? You need to be very, very careful about what the process is in order to get the outcome that you want. Because if you want the outcome, but you're not prepared to live the life needed to get it, you're just asking for disappointment.
If you can answer that question and not take another step, that is real failure. That is real quitting. So a lot of people can take one more step, but they choose not to. I don't know if you can take 2 steps. You got to answer that question after you take the first step. But I can always take one more step. So if I choose not to, that's on me. I got to live with that.
Most people live because most people's lives are designed around treading a path that is void of challenge. The minute they recognize challenge or pain, they move the other way. But a weak perspective. Most people are bored if you ask them. That's because they're living their lives in a lie that is shrouded in comfort. It doesn't exist. They're not challenged, they're not growing, they're bored and they're better off dead. Your aliveness is found in your pain. Embrace it, love it, and grow from it.
How do you hang in there during the hard, difficult times, Les? You must have faith. You've got to believe in yourself. You've got to believe in your abilities. You've got to believe in your service, your company, your ideas, unquestionably. You've got to have faith, and that faith gives you patience. That it's not going to happen as quickly as you want it to happen. A lot of things are going to happen that will catch you off guard. And so therefore you've got to deal with and handle it as it comes. And not only that, but that faith and patience drives you into action.
Whether it's adversity, whether it's suffering, whether it's pain, if you choose to run towards it, who you become on the other side of it is a newer, higher, more transcendent version of you.
My mentality when I do start to be like, damn, this is a lot, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, that's what it's supposed to feel like. If you are going toward what the vision look like, and that's like greatness, that's, on multiple levels. That's the vision that I'm working toward. So I'm like, I just think about that, like, this ain't supposed to feel, comfortable. It's supposed to be uncomfortable. It's supposed to stretch you. It's supposed to be a burden to a degree. And you gotta, wrap your mind around that and accept it and embrace it. And you catch the wisdom off of that.
I even miss the pain. That's why I even try and tell people that just embrace the struggle though, because if one day it's gonna be done, I look back on them times and I'm actually somehow miss them still.
Progress is pain. Most people do not want to experience pain. They like comfort. So if you want progress, you must be willing to, in the process, experience pain so that you may achieve your goal.
Heroes and villains always have the same backstory, pain. The difference is what they choose to do about it. Villain says, the world hurt me, I'll hurt it back. The hero says, the world hurt me, I'm not gonna let it hurt anybody else. Heroes use pain, villains are used by it.
Make up your own mission statement. What do you want to be in life? And once you do that, now you can work with somebody to get better. You can work with yourself to get better. But until you know what you want to stand for, you will always just be sitting down. You'll never stand for anything.
So there is a difference between something shows up in your lifetime and you are ignoring it, you are avoiding it, you're trying to run away from it, and you face it. You face the anger, you face the fear, you face the jealousy, you face the pain, you face what you don't like, you face the fact that you are out of your comfort zone. Why? Because you know that once you have overcome it and find a solution for it, it's solved for this lifetime.
It's a lot easier to sit around and make a list of what you're going to do in the future. What's easier? It's easier to take out a pen and a piece of paper and write things down. And so people will substitute that action for the action that will actually change them and make them better and move them closer to that version of who they know they can become. So let's just be careful. Just be careful. Be careful of getting caught in that planning phase of who you can become. Be careful of that planning phase, because the planning phase should be about 3 seconds long. And then it's time to go get after it.
Make your move before you're ready. I'll tell you where big dreams go to die. They go to the planning place, preparing myself. And it's the biggest con job we work on ourselves. There are so many bones of big dreams in that graveyard where people, there's always going to be a set of reasons to wait.
When you want to achieve the highest goal of all time, you are going to have to learn how to get your ass kicked all the way up that damn mountain. If I want to be way up here, it's going to take a bunch of small, micro failures along the way. But you have to understand that that is part of the process.
The reality is when you do things that are easy in life, you don't value them as much. When you do things that are difficult and that require you to dig really deep, then you value them more. It's easy to quit. It's easier to try something that's already been done before. It's harder when you don't know what the end result will be. It's harder when you face the uphill challenge and you deal with it, you face it head on. It's where you build confidence in yourself. That's where you build your own self-esteem. You know, things are given to you, you never have a sense of how difficult it is to actually earn it.
Regret hurts more than discipline. Because when you're disciplined and you act on the things that you're supposed to do, you won't ever have to look back and say, dang, woulda, coulda, shoulda. So do it now so you don't have to do it later.
The most powerful voice you'll ever hear is the one inside your own head, because that voice is often fueled by fear and insecurity. Your mind can remind you of the past. It can criticize you and make you question your self-worth, but you can change that. Don't be afraid to question the stories you create in your head. Focus on what you want, and you'll start to see opportunities where obstacles once were.
You get up in the morning, what are you gonna do today? I'm gonna win today. Well, just by saying that you're gonna win today, you ain't gonna win today. It's a jungle out there. See, most of us, we come out to compete every single day. The jungle comes to win, because the jungle is always prepared.
You know, the things that you think about all the time, that you don't tell anybody, right? You can do that thing. You actually can achieve it. And you should believe in yourself. You should believe in those things because they're there for a reason. They're not in your mind, they're not in your heart just to be there.
Whenever you feel negative or unhappy about anything, you say, wait a minute, I'm responsible. I'm responsible for my life. I'm responsible for what happens. I can't change the past, so I'm not going to spend a second worrying about the past.
Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary.
Your biggest enemy is you. People don't understand it's you against you. The only person that gets in your way is you. Nobody else.
Being stuck is a signal that you've stopped growing. And when most people feel stuck, they don't understand that it's tied to a fundamental need for growth. We believe it's an existential crisis and we blow up our lives. For most human beings, what actually will get you feeling like you're not stuck is having something in the future that you're looking forward to. Learning anything gets you back in touch with a fundamental need. It makes you start to feel like things are moving. And from that place of feeling a little bit more empowered, you'll be able to make better decisions about what big things need to change in your life.
Your current situation is not your final destination. There's more to your life. And I know right now it's hard for you to believe that, but I need you to believe it. Like everything you're currently facing is building you for something greater. You're more than your struggles, you're more than your pain. I know you feel like nobody understands you, nobody gets you. I know you feel alone and isolated. So I want to tell you, I'm proud of you for not giving up when it's so easy to.
I know what darkness looks like. I know what it feels like to be alone with no motivation, no drive, no passion. And what has to come out of your fucking soul in the darkest of times. But if you are able to get up every morning, have no passion, no drive, no motivation, and still get up with that kind of fire, you will be successful in life. I guarantee you that.
The darkest place someone can be is standing still. The darkest place someone can be is when they are alive, but they are not living. The darkest place someone can be is when they are no longer making progress.
Everyone talks about the destination, but very few people talk about the journey. That's where the iron is forged. In the monotony of doing the right thing day in and day out, your part of the deal is to keep showing up for yourself, to stick around and see what happens when you really go all in. Don't just settle for mediocrity. Just hold up your end of the bargain and watch how life will turn in your favor.
You don't have to have this victim mentality. You don't have to go around telling everybody your sad story of what happened to you and why you're this way. You can go and rewrite the story. You can grab the pen back from the hands of the abusers, of the bullies, of those that created limiting beliefs, and you could rewrite the story yourself. In all the blank pages that exist in your book of life. But that only happens when you start doing the self-work, when you commit to self-mastery. And I'm telling you, it's not just by reading a couple of self-help books. Figuring out who you are at your core, at your essence, what makes you tick, and only then will you be able to set higher standards of expectations for yourself. Only then will you begin to reach the milestone of impact, income, influence, inspiration. God, it's such a cool thing to be able to break through the seals of all your limiting beliefs in life.
There's going to be things that go on that are out of your control. The worst thing you can do is let something that's out of your control control you. Get control of yourself, get control of your emotions. Don't get angry, don't get frustrated. Instead, stay calm and figure out how to move forward.
There's a terminology in psychiatry called relational illness. You've heard people say, you make me sick. Some people can make you sick. That if you fool around with them long enough will send you to an early grave. That will drive your blood pressure up. That will turn your hair gray. Who is it you need to get out of your life? You need to ask yourself the question, what is this relationship doing to me? Might be your spouse. Might be friends. Might be your job making you sick, stressing you out. And you being a volunteer victim, are you willing to die for it?
Listen, if there's only one pedestal, you must be on it. The idealized version of you must be on it. Not me. Not any other guru or influencer or thought leader. You get on the pedestal. You become the idealized version. You become the hero in your life's story. If your life is a movie and the movie ends, do you want your name at the end in the credits to be the hero and the star, or do you want it to be taxi driver number 2?
We start to trap ourselves within our own mind. And our mind is this big barrier, this big wall. And once we get to pain and suffering, that wall gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And the mind says it's time to quit. If we're able to find out different ways to get around that, the first thing you have to do is just to calm your mind down. The very first thing you have to do is don't give yourself a way out. You gotta trick yourself also and say, you know what, I might quit. I'm not gonna quit right now. If your mind knows, I'm not gonna quit, I'm not gonna quit. You're not gonna quit, let your mind think it has a little control over you. Then When you're able to calm down, you're able to think. And then realize, I call it the cookie jar, is you have to have something that fuels you in this time. So once you calm down, what's gonna get you out of the chair? You gotta remember that I've been in times just as hard as this. So I reflected back on my life.
Most of us were raised to become ordinary. And I'm not putting down ordinary, but ordinary is just not good enough for me. Ordinary is you go through your life and you fill out the forms and you pay your taxes and you do what your parents tell you and you're honorable and you're honest and you're a good citizen, and then you die. Extraordinary is something very, very different. This is about recognizing within yourself that there's something very, very extraordinary that you haven't been trained to believe in, to come to a place where you can apply it and put it into your life. You can go way beyond ordinary. You can go way beyond just being average. All of us are extraordinary. We just have to come to believe it.
There's things that you know you're supposed to do as a human being. Things that you know are gonna improve your life. Do those things. There's things that you know are gonna make you a worse person and make your life worse. Don't do those things. Don't do the things that are making you weaker. Start doing the things that are gonna make you stronger and smarter and faster and healthier and gonna make you a better human being.
Things that you have in you that you don't even know, but until you get outside of your comfort zone, you will never discover it. You have something special. You have greatness within you. But in order to manifest your greatness, you've got to put yourself in a perpetual state of discomfort. Yes, you've got to challenge yourself. You got to raise the bar on yourself. You've got to get busy. You've got to work your plan. It's time for me to do me, to pursue my dream, to work my plan, to implement the things that I want for myself and for my family and for my kids. And what is your legacy? What do you want to do for yourself?
Most people quit and never finish what they started is because they continually stack L's instead of W's. You probably do things to set yourself up to fail in life. You set your alarm clock to wake up at a certain time, and then you hit that snooze button. What did you do? You stacked the L. If you think that you're meant for big goals and big dreams, change lots of lives and impact and inspire people, well, you probably need a lot of confidence. If you're always stacking losses, hitting the snooze button, saying you're gonna go work out and you don't, saying you're gonna eat clean and you don't, saying you're gonna read a few pages out of a book and you don't, all those things seem small and trivial until they add up over days, weeks, months, and years. And you have hardened your subconscious into knowing that you are an imposter, that you are not a promise keeper, and therefore your reputation with yourself erodes. Your reputation with yourself, as it turns out, is your confidence.
You will hold sturdy against anything that's thrown at you, based on that firm inner conviction that you will not falter, you will not flounder, you will not fail.
You don't have to necessarily have done anything wrong for things to get completely out of control. It's a terrifying doctrine, but it's not a hopeless doctrine because it still says that there's a way forward, there's a pathway forward, and the pathway forward is to adopt a mode of being that has some nobility so that you can tolerate yourself and perhaps even have some respect for yourself as someone who's capable of standing up in the face of that terrible vulnerability and suffering. Well, certainly by the avoidance of deceit, particularly in language, but also by the adoption of responsibility for the conditions of existence and some attempt on your part to actually rectify them. You know, if you take people and you expose them voluntarily to things that they are avoiding and are afraid of, you know, that they know they need to overcome in order to meet their goals, their self-defined goals. If you can teach people to stand up in the face of the things they're afraid of, they get stronger.
Success is not rocket science. You go and find the thing that you don't know, learn the thing you don't know, and do the thing you haven't been doing, and get the life you say you want. All I wanted was unfamiliar. But you have to understand that most people don't invite in unfamiliar because people are more committed People are more committed to a familiar discomfort than they are to an unfamiliar new possibility. The key words are familiar and unfamiliar. See, we want to have a new experience while having some of the same behaviors because they're familiar to us. They're familiar. Some of them not even comfortable. People in relationships are not even comfortable. It's just familiar. People are still at jobs that aren't even comfortable. They're just familiar. So that's the crazy, is that we're more committed to a familiar discomfort than we are to an unfamiliar new possibility because of the familiarity, not even the comfort.
To give people a vision of themselves beyond their mental conditioning and their circumstances, to let them know that they have greatness within them. But Han, greatness, it's not our destiny. It's a choice that you have to make every day. You have to put yourself in a state of perpetual discomfort in order to manifest your greatness. You've got to reach outside of your comfort zone. So every day I look forward to the opportunity to inspire people to reach higher, to understand and know that what they've done is only a tip of the iceberg of what's costly.
Well, I think a fair bit of that's probably to be found in, you can find it in shame, you can find it in guilt, you can find it in conscience, you can find it in anger, you can find it in interest and engagement and beauty. There's lots of pathways. If you're angry about something in the world, well, it's speaking to you in a moral sense. This shouldn't be that way. Well, maybe you're the person who should do something about it in some manner. Maybe it'll take your whole life to figure out how to do that. Negative emotions can be a pathway to transformation. I'm not trying to romanticize them. They can crush you completely and leave you with nothing, for sure. And they can go badly astray. But shame, that's a good one. What am I ashamed of? Well, can you fix any of that? Because you might ask yourself, let's say you're so ashamed and so crushed that you're nihilistic and you can't see any hope for life. You're just done. You might think, well, what if I was less ashamed? I'm going to work on these things that I'm ashamed of and just see, like, does my life improve enough so that I'm not so bitter about it now, or I'm not so hopeless about it now? And my experience is generally being that works. It works.
There are winners, there are losers, and there are people who have not discovered how to win. All they need is some help and assistance, just a little support. All they need is some insight or a different strategy or plan of action to make some adjustments that will open up the key to a whole new future for them, that will give them access to the unlimited power that they have within themselves.
If we do not do what we cannot do, there's no issue. If we do not do what we can do, we are a disaster. So I'm saying, at least are you as joyful as you were when you were 5 years of age? At 35, 40, if you are not as joyful and as exuberant as a 5-year-old boy or girl that you were, obviously you're a disaster because you're not even square one. That was square one of your life and nothing was in your control, all right? You're not even in square one, you sunk deeper. That's a disastrous life. Never before in the history of humanity, any generation had these kind of conveniences, these kind of comforts, these kind of wonderful things that we have today. Never before human survival was better organized than it is today. If we don't do it now, when? Many great beings have come on this planet, but when they spoke, hardly 10 people could hear. Today we can sit here and talk to the entire world. When we have this, if we do not transform the world into a more loving, joyful, exuberant humanity, it simply means we don't care. I don't want to go as that.
So it's little tiny adjustments that have the most profound effect on people. And it's never too late to say, I'm enough, I can find love. And now if you give someone the power to make you feel good, you give them the power to make you feel bad. And if you do it to yourself, you feel so much better. It makes you slightly bulletproof. You still need other people. We all need other people. But the dialoguing with yourself and starting with I'm enough.
Are you willing to be inconvenienced for your conviction? And as you ramp up, you're going to have questions. You're going to be afraid. I do more things afraid now than I do fearless. Because the bigger you play, the bigger your breakdowns. Fear fuels you. Fear is informing you. It's not stopping you.
I'm not enough. I need more. And if you feel enough, you start to feel equal. See, most of us feel unequal. Really what I'm enough is doing is reactivating, remanifesting, regenerating what you were born with, an ability to say, I'm enough.
In order to be successful in life, you have to cross a jungle. Or you can stay on the other side of the jungle and not cross the jungle. But if you choose to cross the jungle has all sorts of things that can do you harm and bite you and everything along those lines. And so best way to do that is to go into that with people who can see things differently and watch themselves and struggle to make it to the other side. And then what I've discovered along the way is that it's always a struggle, and I enjoy being in the jungle.
My unflagging belief in one simple thing: I can learn anything.
I think people have to realize that they have to accept failure, but don't accept defeat. I think whenever you're trying to do something great, whenever you're trying to be successful, you're going to face failures, but it's those lessons in the failures that really take you to greatness.
My entire reality was based on what I believed was real, what I believed was true about myself, about what's possible, and that I could change that. That's when my life started to change. And he said, if you start to change the way you think, and you start to learn every day for 1 hour to upgrade your knowledge and your skills, and then you take action every day on the things that are the most important instead of all the different things that you can do. 1 year, you'll be at a totally different destination. 5, 10 years, your life won't be the same.
So what would be best for you 3 to 5 years down the road if you were really taking care of yourself like you were someone that you thought should be around? And people are very ambivalent about whether they should be around, so this is a lot harder than you think. So you need that vision. And then what you also need is a vision of what your life would be like if you let yourself deteriorate in precisely the foolish ways that you know that you would deteriorate if you let yourself go. And that's contemplation too. It's like, okay, if I let myself go, where would I end up?
Haven't developed grit yet. And so grit is the ability to persevere, to see things through, to go past the point at which it is stopped being fun and it becomes boring because you believe in your end goal enough, you're excited by what you're trying to accomplish so much that you're willing to fight through all of that difficulty. You're willing to fight through the boredom, you're willing to fight through the unease that arises when you step outside your comfort zone, you're doing things you're not good at, and things that are boring. Those are the two things that I find kill most people. They just cannot handle the things that make them go, oh God, like I'm not very good at this and I'm feeling really badly about myself. And they forget that they can get good on a long enough timeline. And then two, inevitably, in any pursuit of greatness, in any endeavor where you're trying to gain mastery, you're gonna get bored. Because practice is repetition. It's doing something over and over and over and over to really train yourself to get to the point where you're truly exceptional. And there's just so much boredom inherent in that process.
Primarily, we learn the most about ourselves and others when we're uncomfortable. Because the moment you move into that uncomfortable state, normally a program jumps in. and a program jumps in, it's because a person doesn't want to be in the present moment and engage it consciously. That is what starts the process of change. And so we have to unlearn before we relearn. We have to break the habit of the old self before we reinvent the new self. We have to unmemorize emotions that are stored in the body and recondition the body to a new mind and to a new emotion.
Progress to just keep getting better. Little incremental gains every day, every week, every month, every quarter. And even when you move backwards a couple of steps, what's the progress that you made in what you learned? So I was taught that failure is an opportunity to learn. And I was also taught to disassociate me being a failure from failing.
If you get yourself in a state of certainty that this is going to work, I'm going to find the way, and if this doesn't work, I will make the way, then you tap a lot more potential. And when you're certain in your potential, you take massive action. When you take massive action, you really believe in something, you get great results.
Because the long-term impact of making a decision from your heart and soul, that is where the best life comes from.
The little voice in the back of your head that says it matters, it sees those outcomes down into the future, and it's telling you that it matters. And if you would like the positive outcome over the negative outcome, which is, like I said, your constant choice, you bloody well better sit down and do what you're supposed to.
If you're interested, you'll do what's convenient. You'll come up with stories and excuses and reasons why you can't, and you'll use your education as an excuse, you'll use your stories as an excuse, you'll use all of that as your reasons why you can't. It says, but if you're committed, you will do whatever it takes. You'll let go of your stories, you'll let go of your excuses, you'll let go of all the reasons you currently have that are formulating your identity of yourself, and you'll learn how to let that go and become who you are destined to become.
Why do most people fail? The answer is they never start. Now, the reason that most people never start is because they don't think that they're going to get a result from their actions. And then that's going to come down to a belief that they believe about themselves. I'm too stupid. I'm not good enough. I don't have the natural talent. That's why most people fail. The hard thing is taking the first step. Everything else is just persistence.
Because so many times people have a tendency to devalue the moment, today. What they do is they greatly value the destination. And so they kind of talk about, well, when I get there, or if I arrive there, or when I do that, or when I accomplish this. And they don't understand that success is a daily thing. And I'm here to share with you that the secret of success is determined by your daily agenda.
It's not so much courage, it's a matter of, it's less risky to say something than to remain silent when you know there's something to be said. I know that to be the case. And so lots of times in life, it's like, there's no pathway forward that's going to shield you from risk. You get to pick this risk, or you get to pick this risk.